All right, guys, welcome to Ohana. In the bottom right corner, we have Desrow from Team Pulse Gaming, or Pulse Esports, rather. Pulse, a recent team that's formed with other players like Kane, as well as a lot of North American talent and Canadian, especially, with being the center of focus for that team. Desrow, of course, having some nice little banter with KawaiiRice, who is in the top left corner from Team Light, the Yellow Terran. KawaiiRice kind of grew up in the scene. He's kind of like like Idra, like TT1. Grew up when he was like a young kid, but now he's kind of matured. He's in college, leading his CSL team, and still trying to be a pro, all for Team Light Esports.
Yep, Kawhi's a great Terran player. I've had the chance to interact with him in a couple of tournaments. He's one of the quieter types. He's not one of the big, huge, outspoken personalities in the scene, but he's definitely one of the best Terran players inside of North America. And he's had some really great results in the CSL, as you talked about, Dan. And also for his team, Team Light. These guys right now are just kind of joking about when they played in a clan war. I've seen Kawhi really be the anchor, or the anchor man for his team on multiple occasions. He's a great clan war asset.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the main points of one of the main anchors for Team Light, as well as Son, as the recent pickup for Team Light as well. Those are two guys that really lead the team, especially when Golden first left the team and eventually went to Quantic. Light was kind of searching for their ace for a while. You know, I even had the opportunity to ask Xeris and say, you know, like, who do you guys turn to? And he says, well, for now, no one can really beat KawaiiRice in practice. Maybe Caliber, who also was in this tournament. But for the most part, they relied on KawaiiRice, and I think that says a lot to not just his own confidence, but how much his team has confidence in him.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. Desrow, on the other hand, a guy who has made a name for himself via streaming. He's done a lot for the community with his coaching services. He's done a lot for the community as a popular personality, and since then, he's developed as a great player. Spent some time in Korea over at the GOM House, and is now practicing a lot at the Ministry of Wind. So he has really elevated his play to a high level. And he's got a big following. I'm very eager to see how Kawhi and Desrow match up here, as they've definitely squared off against each other before. But I really have no idea what their record is against one another.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not even that too much significant. But one thing I do know is that KawaiiRice, he kind of flip-flops between his struggles against Zerg and Protoss for a while. He was always comfortable Terran versus Terran. But it would be like 1 month, I'm like, Adrian, how you feeling versus Protoss? He's like, Protoss is too strong. And then I asked him the next month, it's like, oh, I can't beat Zerg. And then the next month, it's back to Protoss. And he's always kind of had that difficulty. I remember one time he even said, I'm not going to play StarCraft 2 until they fix Terran versus Protoss. And then, of course, they nerfed Terran actually in that regard. And then he was just like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to get any help there.
Kawhi's going to be opening up with what looks to be some kind of Banshee play. I was thinking it might be Elevator, given the fact that he's got a reactor on this barracks, but I guess he's just going to use that to crank out a lot of Marines. As he establishes this Banshee tech, if we look back on Desirow's side of the map, we see he does have his Nexus down. He is working off of just a single gateway, but double gas, so he will be teching up pretty quickly behind this.
Yeah, it's very standard to do this on Ohana. For both players, 1-1-1 is incredibly powerful just because of how far the ramp is away from the Nexus. You have lots of room to kind of protect the tanks, as well as just be able to push in and poke with the Banshees, if that's what he chooses to do, which looks like KawaiiRice is going for. He's not getting Cloak, though, instead just going for a quick tech lab after the factory. And it's really nice. It's going to be a really hard push if Desrow doesn't scout it. And KawaiiRice is showing all the right signs because he has a bunker on top of his natural ramp, and Desrow really can't get any information.
Yeah, can't get up there. And Kawhi's basically just going to 1-1-1 here. He's got the Banshee on the way. I'm assuming we're going to see some siege tank production here pretty soon. There's that first tank going down. Siege mode should follow in short order. And then I guess we're just going to see him macro up as many units as possible. There's that siege mode that we talked about. Macro up as many units as possible and then pull SCVs and just go, go, go. Now, 1-1-1 was very, very popular for a long time. Since then, Protoss did get a couple of buffs, the Immortal range probably being the most instrumental of those.
That was definitely a huge buff, as well as charge being able to hit a unit at least once. When they kind of fixed charge, it helped against the kiting a lot, and especially against charging Marines and tanks. It's just so powerful. So I think you're absolutely right. I think Desrow should be okay as long as he gets this scout off, but with the Banshee, I think Desrow now knows I have to be very careful. He needs to get an Immortal as soon as possible and get up his production as well as protect his probes. You can see he's already evacuating the natural, not even really trying to send any probes there.
Yep, nice smart play here from Desrow, keeping his observer with the Stalkers. And he will chase this initial Banshee away very quickly. So no damage taken there at the very beginning. Banshee only with a single kill from that single spotting probe that was over in third base. There is another Banshee out somewhere. Look at how good Desrow is being about having spotter units out. This probe will see a Banshee that comes in from this angle. Kawhi is already out on the map with his army. It looks like he's ready to make this push. He's going to run right under the observer of Desrow. So he sees this coming, and he's going to see probably an SCV train behind it. Yep, that's exactly what we're going to see. Banshee still being active, but still being relatively unsuccessful. Only 3 kills on that Banshee. No cloak is a big deal. Oftentimes you see players choose between cloak or a Raven. Kawhi got neither of those things in this instance.
He squeezed out for much faster tanks. Look at it. It's not even 9 minutes, and he already has 2 tanks out into the field. KawaiiRice needs to get a good position. Now, I like that fact that Desrow made 2 observers, but I would rather him have a second one on the army because you want to see when the tanks unsiege so you can move and get position back against your opponent. KawaiiRice trying to bounce in here, trapping a couple of units, but KawaiiRice just has to run, and this is the power of Ohana. You can utilize that ledge for your own position.
Now, Kawhi maybe not making the most of his position. He had gotten completely up the ramp. Now he's going to start trying to bunker, but he's already lost a lot of SCVs. More Banshees, more tanks coming forward. Desrow's going to have to do something soon, and here he goes. Guardian Shield gets popped. Immortal coming forward. He's completely out of range of this tank fire, but KawaiiRice is just crushing every other unit in Desrow's army.
Yeah, this push came too fast, and imagine if Desrow had a second Immortal, he might be able to withstand a little bit more damage, but he doesn't have the raw production capability, especially since he's still making Stalkers here to be able to poke against the Marines, but that means the tanks are going to be able to chew up the army as well, and KawaiiRice is only getting stronger because he has more tanks coming in.
Yeah, Desrow's in some trouble here as Immortals are going to have a hard time finding good engagements. Banshee's also a huge threat right now. There's only 5 Stalkers out on the map, and it's going to be very difficult for them to focus fire.
He's losing some on the high ground as well, pretty carelessly, trying to target down some of the Banshees, but that's exactly what KawaiiRice wants. He wants to get rid of the Stalkers, wants to get rid of any infantry, because right now all the center of attention is on the tanks, because he has no answer to them. The Banshee's picking off the Stalkers, and that means the Immortals are going to be free to pick off.
Yep, those Immortals completely exposed. Couple more Stalkers warped in. 1 Banshee will be shot down. A second one taking a lot of damage, but Kawhi is just being so patient, leapfrogging forward ever so carefully. And I think Desrow is definitely going to lose this expansion. Those Immortals are so incredibly low. Look how good he's been about keeping these Immortals alive. Finally, the Banshees will pick them off. Tanks are also going to survive. And Desrow is going to tap out. GG gets called. Kawhi busting out the old school 1-1-1 on Ohana. It was very fast.
Yeah, very quick. That's why we use that extra gas just to squeeze out the tank and siege mode super quick. It's before 9 minutes. Protoss is not used to that kind of stuff. If you want to play safe and get like the 2 observers, 3 observers out and try to get an Immortal, you're going to just not have enough units. That's a lot of resources and time that hasn't been utilized for production of units.
That's exactly right. Guys, we are going to take a short break at Last Game, brought to you by Audible. Download and listen to a bestseller today, and do it at nasl.tv/p/audible. Don't go anywhere. Game 2, Desrow versus Kawhi, when we get back.